To celebrate over 10 years on YouTube, helping English students all over the world become fluent speakers, and because there are now more than 500 videos on our channel, I thought it was time for a series of greatest hits lessons to make reviews simple for longtime fans and help new students and teachers find my best ideas easily. This first video introduces my most controversial lesson: there's no such thing as a second language. The basic idea is that if you believe there are second languages, you will also believe there must be special second language learning methods that you didn't use with your native language. But the truth is there's only one way you become fluent in any language, whether it's your native language or a new one you're learning. So there's no such thing as a second language requiring any special methods, and you should learn every language like it's your first. Let's look at this in detail. All of the unnecessary mystery and pain of language learning comes from the belief in second languages. It's a different language, most students think, so I must use translations, study vocabulary lists, and memorize rules. But as anyone who's studied a new language knows, these things do help you learn a language, but they don't help you speak confidently and fluently. In fact, they make you struggle to recall words, use unnatural phrasing, and organize sentences in your head before you speak. Worst of all, because of the physical problems that come with being unable to communicate, you then feel increasingly unconfident and worried about speaking, often to the point where you avoid conversations. So what should you do instead? And how can you learn a new language like it's your first? Let me give you an example using Japanese, a language I'm also fluent in. You're now going to learn some Japanese the same way you learned your native language. Here we go. Akai kuruma, akai sakana, akai tori, akai kuruma, akai sakana, akai tori. Now, can you tell me what the fourth object on the bottom row is in Japanese? Akai sakana, aoi sakana, akai kuruma, akai sakana, aoi sakana, akai kuruma. If you said aoi kuruma, you're right. This means blue car. Your brain, which naturally recognizes patterns and solves puzzles, just helped you learn Japanese without using any translations or studying any rules. Just look at everything you learned. You looked at the pictures and naturally wondered what's the same and what's different. If I ask you what aka means, you'd probably guess red. You also learned that kuruma means car, that sakana means fish, and that tori means bird. You've even begun to understand some grammar, and I didn't tell you a single rule. You naturally discovered that adjectives come before nouns in Japanese. The color words aka for red and ao for blue. And because you learned the vocabulary and rules by yourself, you learned much faster, you weren't confused, you feel more confident, and you are now much more likely to remember these words when you speak. Isn't that great? At more advanced levels, this process works in exactly the same way. You continue to understand new vocabulary and grammar all in the language you're learning. This is why I teach all of my adult English students, including the Japanese ones, completely in English. It's also the same way I teach my own children. They learn basic things in English, then use the vocabulary they've learned to understand more difficult words and phrases. In the same way, your parents told you the names of things in your language because there was no way to translate. You also learned to put the rules together by yourself, just like pieces of a puzzle. It's because you learned your native language this way, and not because your parents were native or because of where you grew up, that you speak your native language fluently today. And you just proved that you can do this anywhere and with any language because there's no such thing as a second language. There are only ways of learning languages that make communication automatic and smooth, and ways of learning that cause frustration. See why it's so easy for me to guarantee my methods and lessons? Now, imagine if you learned 20 phrases like this or understood just one new grammar point like this each day. You'd easily correct the bad habits you developed with traditional lessons, And you'd become a fluent English speaker very quickly, wouldn't you? It's not your fault if you learned English or any other language the traditional way, because this is how almost everyone teaches. The good news is you can now learn English like it's your first language, so you express yourself smoothly, correctly, and without fear. To become a confident, fluent English speaker the easy way, click on the link in this video or on the link in the description below this video now. Bye-bye.